discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Health or High Water podcast. I feel like it's been, a couple of weeks since we've been back on. This episode, I'm just going to warn you, this one, we don't know where this one is going to go. It's going to be fun. We have Amanda Wells here. Amanda, what's going on?
Not much. Happy to be here, y'all. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for driving in on the snowy day. This was dangerous.
It wasn't too bad. Definitely had worse. When I first moved to Colorado, I think it snowed 12 inches, and I had never driven in snow before. So this was okay. Yeah, totally.
What's going on, Leslie? We have Leslie here as well. Leslie was, if you guys have been following what we've done the last, 100 or so episodes, do you remember, Leslie, what episode you were? You had to have been...
Season 1, episode 9, I think.
Okay.
And then season 2, it was right after January. What was it like?
On 2/2, yeah?
Yeah, it was right in January.
Yeah, 2 of my favorite episodes, and I'm not saying that because you're here.
Yes, you are. And that's okay. I concur with that.
No, I love those episodes. Definitely go back and do those episodes. For those who don't know, Leslie trains with Tripp. So she's going to be joining the banter here today. And then we got Sir Tripp over here at the helms. What's going on?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
You want to hit him with any news or anything before we dive in? We're going to talk a lot of recovery. We're going to talk fitness, and we're going to get to know more about you, Amanda.
So we got a few episodes you guys look out for. We got Dr. Amy Person coming on later here in November, who's going to talk to us about women's health and her initiative about her collaboration with other Women's First Health and Wellness. And then we have Brandon Jackson coming on as well. He's going to talk about late care, like making sure that you're covered if you guys have strokes or those kind of things. So that's going to be kind of a heavy episode, but we've been trying to get someone on to talk about that for a while. That's about it for news, I think.
I'm excited for Dr. Persons too.
Me too, because you guys need a woman here who knows what that's about.
Hey, honestly, that is so true. We definitely do. Which actually, I should say, I'm sad that Bethany couldn't join us today.
I know.
Sorry, we were out of microphones.
In there? What does ever pop in?
I wish that was a joke. Thanks for coming in. I want to dive in a little bit. So right now, you are the general manager of Restore Hyper Wellness.
Correct.
You guys do... It's all recovery based. Can you give us us and the listeners some background on Restore Hyper Wellness, what it is, what the mission is with that, what you focus on, and then kind of your day to day and how you work on that?
Yeah. So Restore's main motto is mainly so that you can do more with your life, right? So, and it's not even just recovery; it's mechanisms that can support all types of well-being. So, at the end of the day, we want you to come in and leave feeling like you can conquer more of what you love to do day to day, whether that be hiking in the mountains, whether that be going to play with your kids while they're playing ball, like really just overall function and happiness and well-being. Because I feel like quality of life, especially nowadays, it's harder to achieve. So we're just giving more mechanisms to attain that at, I guess, a better, not having to go to the hospital possibly, or more of the aftercare side, more of the preventative side.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So we have people that are athletes and come in to recover. I had a guest who's a cyclist, and he did a 100-mile cycle. And he comes in and does compression with us all the time. So he's one that's more of the athlete side. But I also have some of just like older demographics that are looking to ease pain so that they can spend time with their grandkids and do more of their day-to-day stuff and spend time making memories versus feeling in pain or just unable to. So that's really our focus. And as someone who works one-on-one with a lot of those guests, I think my main job and a lot of my employees' main jobs is to really just be there and show them support in that journey and that we are there for them. I want to really watch someone come in and leave happier, leave more able to really just focus on what they love. And my lead nurse, when she gives IVs, she loves seeing someone leave and feel hydrated and feel like they finally felt, I don't know, really cared for, like one-on-one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Just
Definitely.
like building that rapport with them and knowing you're not alone in this. We're here for you all the time, whether that be I just put you in some compression sleeves, you hop in a cryo for 3 minutes, or we spend one-on-one time with you with our performance medicine program. So there's just a lot of options that we offer that I think is making wellness and preventative health more attainable to just civilians.
Yeah. You guys have how many and I'm not putting you on the spot with this one, but how many locations? Last I looked, it was over 100 nationwide.
Oh, I think we're at I think we're around 230.
230 locations.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
240.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a famous, and I don't know who it is, but I thought I remember somebody being a famous investor, somebody like a celebrity that was heavily invested. Does that ring a bell or no?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna have to.
Sorry about that.
Maybe the listeners have to Google that one. And for Leslie, can you Google that for us?
Like Joe Rogan.
So I did the hyperbaric chamber.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty intense. There was a fan in there and like a button or like a radio or something like that.
Yes, a walkie.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, tell what is the hyperbaric chamber about? What are the limitations with it?
Yeah, so better saturation of oxygen, especially living in Colorado with high elevation. We are all probably at a deficit of absorption of oxygen on the daily. I mean, there are separate protocols. So if anyone's over 65, diabetic, under a certain age as well, we have to be very careful. So usually when someone comes in for a hyperbaric session, we always set anyone up with a telemed with a nurse practitioner. So you fill out forms. If you are in some of those specific demographics, you have to bring in blood work. You meet one-on-one with our nurse. They pull up a nurse practitioner. They go through that kind of consultation to assure that there's no contraindications. I mean, health and wellness is about safety as well. We don't want to harm in any way. So we take a lot of precautions at Restore to make sure that we're setting you up for success. And then from there, you do have the walkie. We give you fans because not all of them have like an air conditioner attached. We do have one that has one attached, but it's always a safe precautionary measure to make sure we have proper air circulation because you are encapsulated in this pressurized, and it's not a tube for us, one of them is, but it blows up. So you have space, but you're still in there and it pressurizes up and you feel like you're almost on a plane. Your ears pop, you kind of go through these levels of change, and then you finally hit a specific pressure, and that's when we turn on the oxygen. And you have your own cannula, so you absorb, and then you sit there for an hour or 90 minutes, depending, and you just sit there. And I like to work if I'm inside of it. Some people like to just scroll on their phones. Some people sleep. I mean, it's really time that you can spend doing whatever you'd like in solitude. I could see people meditating in there. So everyone kind of takes their own route with it. And it actually just gives you some me time. I mean, what better way to do that than have to sit in a chamber for 60 minutes? Most people don't have that kind of time.
Is that what it is? 16? What's the length of time?
It's either an hour or 90 minutes.
Oh,
and it
gotcha.
takes on average about 6 to 10 minutes to pressurize up. But when you're in that telemed with our nurse, she asks, do you have ear sensitivities? Have you ever had eardrum issues? Are you prone to ear infections? Those kinds of things so that we can be better aware of how quickly we pressurize it for you. And then that way she can make sure we're not, again, harming. Because I have had people respond with more of like a sinus inflammation or something like that. And I'm like, okay, maybe today's not the day. Maybe we try again at another time. So it's very hands-on with our nurse. And then thankfully, myself and my team, we all go through a certification process to be able to assist if needed.
Yeah, it says, what do you mean by assist? Like,
So if someone's done this recurringly, we have the clearance to be able to like put them in, make sure that they have all the tools, zip them up, pressurize. Because our nurses are also multitasking. We usually have one nurse all day. And so if she's giving IVs, if she's in a telemed experience with someone else, we do have the clearance to be able to assist, except for those finite cases of first times, diabetic, those kinds of things.
yeah. Tell me about, that's interesting. Tell me about, so you've been, we were talking about before the podcast, and you've been there for a short period of time now. Can we learn a little bit more about like your backstory? What you went to LSU, you said.
Yes,
what did
sir.
you study there?
Kinesiology.
Okay, and your husband was also
Same.
kinesiology. Is that where you guys met?
Yes. Well, we met at the rec center, actually. We both worked at the
love
gym.
story.
He's going to listen to this and be like, oh, yeah.
That's taking going to the bar in a different aspect.
Trip, that was a good one. Yeah?
I got a few wins here,
They're not many, but
but the wins are epic.
that was a good one. So you study kinesiology. Have you been a personal trainer?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's your Is that like your base?
Yeah, so when I came out of school, I was in health coaching. So to graduate with a kinesiology degree from LSU, you do have to do an internship. It counts for about 6 hours of credits. And so I went into the health coaching field with SB Wellness. They are still there. They mainly work out of Blue Cross Blue Shield in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Phenomenal group of people, mostly women. Still, honestly, my manager and one of my closest coworkers still work there. They were at our wedding 2 years ago, so even though we moved far away, they're still very close. Love to comment on my Instagram. Anyway, and my husband's. They'll love to hear that. But yeah, so that's how I kind of got started. And then from there, I did get my certifications in personal training and health coaching. Something that I haven't kept going because I got out of personal training a couple years back and just didn't see the point of continuously getting more education, paying for all of that. So it was something that I did lose, but my passion for it and my ability to look at someone's body and understand the biomechanics has not gone anywhere. I mean, it's constant. Even when I was working in my retail setting, I was watching my girls move certain ways while lifting boxes, or they would be talking about some type of ailment they had in the back room, and all of that knowledge would just come forward, and I couldn't turn it off, and I didn't want to. And I remember them saying, you know, you really love this. Like, you light up when we talk about these kinds of things. So why are you not doing that? And it was always something that you always have the passion, so you always find avenues to it. It just wasn't something that I was currently working in at the time. And then I eventually found my way back to it. So I'm very grateful, because if I hadn't gone into clothing retail, I wouldn't be at Restore now.
Oh, that was my question. You had an adjacent move, clothing retail.
Yeah. So I went from health coaching, and then I managed vitamin shops. So that was a super nice transition into retail for me, because I still was able to use my knowledge.
Yeah.
I was working one-on-one with guests. Have y'all been into a vitamin shop before?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Okay.
I was in last week.
Vitamin shops.
At the one in Cherry Creek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We teach a boxing class over the Akoya, and I always try to get a energy drink before class.
Right there.
Okay. Is Matt there? Do you know if Matt's there? I don't know. That might be.
You're like, I was just at the vitamin shop. I go there 3 days a week. Can't stop.
Was it a flash?
Addicted to the vitamin shop.
Just need me some vitamins.
What do you got for perimenopause?
I actually have helped a lot of women with that.
She's like, holy, I got a list.
I do have a list.
I think I did meet a Matt before.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, super nice guy. So I was managing the one in North Glen, actually, before I moved into clothing. And if anyone's looking for some vitamin help, Gary and Sheila in North Glen, killing it.
We'll put their link in the bio.
I love them. They are just such nice human beings, like truly, like just want to help. Like Gary, he's in his 80s. He's been studying holistic health for decades.
Well, and you walk into those places and it's mildly intimidating and you have no idea, because it's just vitamin after vitamin, like Legos stacked across there, and you're like, I just need vitamin C, I think. I don't know.
Come out with a bag.
20 options of that. Yeah.
Like, I just spent $300. I'm not really sure what I got. Ashwagandha?
Yes. So that's where I was able to really dive into retail and the operations of running a business, but I was still able to utilize my knowledge. And when you go into a vitamin shop, they're really there to assist every individual one-on-one as much as they can. I mean, sometimes you're busy and you got to multitask, but the best times were having people come in with issues or ailments, and you could sit there and help them feel comfortable and safe enough to really open up to you so that you could really dive in and figure out what could be the best options. And you have to take that very seriously, because these are things that are going into their body. So you don't take it lightly. There's proper verbiage to everything. Obviously, we're not handing out cures. But at the end of the day, anyone that works in a setting like that really needs to be there for the right purpose, which is helping people, because that's your why. And so to be able to move from health coaching into more of a retail setting where I felt I could grow more as a leader, but also still assist, was really important to me. And then eventually I hit a point of, there's not really much more growth for me as an individual here. Even my district leader was like, Amanda, I get it, but I'm not going anywhere. Like, there's no higher point for now. So that was kind of when I started to drift into other avenues, and I got into clothing, which was activewear or athleisure.
I just learned that word, by the way, this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Athleisure.
Athleisure. I was like, I've been wearing that since the 90s.
Like,
I think I invented
Fabletics is so
athleisure.
big, all of that stuff, athleisure.
Oh yeah, it's huge. And so I
I was
actually
just saying, you throw on some boho earrings and you have yourself a night out outfit.
Yeah.
What'd you do today? Oh, I just got done with a heavy meditation session. I'm putting in my boho earrings with my athleisure wear, and I'm going to dinner.
you know what? But that's my life. Yeah, that is literally what I do.
I will be in sweatpants all winter long. Sweatpants and shorts. Leave me alone.
I just bought Levi's because I was like, I really want Levi's. I need Levi's. I have to have Levi's. I want Levi's. So I went and bought Levi's, and I wore them yesterday, and I was like,
The
man,
jeans?
Yes, the jeans, bro.
He's like, I don't even know.
We're doing
I don't even know.
athleisure. I'm like,
I'm like, I wore them, and I'm like, these aren't quite like my yoga pants.
more of a Wrangler guy.
Not at all.
They're not athleisure. But
No.
I look good.
Yeah. Love that for
It
you.
feels weird putting on real pants. You know what I mean? Like,
I low-key debated
I was like,
that.
Man, these have belt loops. What?
Pockets?
I was like, do I even own a belt anymore? It doesn't fit with my athleisure wear.
So what do you feel? What do you feel about like now? Get it like at Restore, because I hear you and I identify with like really feeling passionate about helping people and having that avenue. And now at Restore, you have that incredible avenue. But being a general manager comes with a whole ton of responsibilities. You know, great ones for sure, and then some that you know are not so great. How do you feel like? You know, you being 3 months into it, you feel like there's still a curve, a learning curve to it? Do you feel like you're in your shoes now and you feel like cruising?
What, a learning curve to being a manager or a learning curve to
Company? Just to managing employees and schedules and goals and just like all
What does that have to do with wellness? That's totally different.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He's like, how do you focus on wellness while doing all
Yeah,
this?
100%.
Right.
Honestly, so to be honest, operations comes pretty easy to me. I don't know if any of y'all are into astrology, but I'm a Virgo. So everything for me is I want to find the best avenue, the most efficient way. So operationally, my brain just gets it. The people side, hiring, maintaining happiness on your team, that is a huge piece to me that I feel goes missing a lot of the time. So right now I'm actually holding interviews for one of my positions. And when I'm speaking to the interviewees, there's a huge focus on, we're a small knit group here. So if I bring you in, you're part of that family. And I'm very particular about who I bring in because one person amongst only 7 or 8, changes the entire dynamic. And so really maintaining that team happiness and realizing that without them, you have really nothing. Just like without guests, I don't have a business to run. Without my team to support me, I can't do this by myself. And as a Virgo as well, I love control. So relinquishing control is something that I have a hard time doing. So there's a lot of trust and care that goes into it. She's like, from experience, don't do it.
So I need to control what everybody thinks about me. So.
Same. Slowly relinquishing that, though. It's an impossible task. But yeah, like really making sure my team has that why and they have that drive as well. And we're pretty much a unit towards the same goal. And they see what I do struggle with. I'm still learning. I mean, every day at Restore is something new. You have a new person. You have a new why. You have a new goal. So you're working one-on-one with these people with all kinds of different things going on in their lives. So you're always hitting a different setting or a different issue and rerouting. And my team does a great job of supporting me while I do that. And I can lean on them a lot. And I just want to put like a shout out to my team because everyone that's in that building has their own why. Like we were talking about my one who used to be a programmer or coder or whatever that is. She's going to laugh at me because I have no idea.
Whatever she does in the back office when I come in.
But she used to
just trip.
She just used to just sit at a computer all day and it made her sick. Mm-hmm. And she found Restore in her journey back to health. Mm-hmm. And that's her why. And another one of my employees, she's written her own books. She's done all kinds of wellness, massage therapy, yoga, just all types of spiritual health nowadays. Mm-hmm. And that's her why. She loves really seeing that joy and that light come back to people. So it's really also about the people that you surround yourself by, and being in a facility where people are just trying to be better is really encouraging, especially coming from a place where people are just buying things. So, right? Clothes are great. You can show yourself on the outside with them. You look super cute and confident. I love making people feel that way. But to really help them on the inside and see that growth, it's just a different experience, and they all love it. So
yeah, that's awesome. I want to touch on the cold chamber there. When I was going to restore the one in Central Park, that I hope it's still there. Did you say it might not be there anymore? Might not be there anymore. But when I was going to one in Central Park, they were just installing the cold chamber, and I'm a cold therapy guy. I love it. I jump in there.
I don't think it's called a cold chamber. You need to get up with your wellness.
What is it called?
Cryotherapy.
Thank you.
Cryo
It's the
chamber.
same. People know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we know. We got it.
I mean, they're just words.
Tomato, potato.
They had.
It's different than a cold plunge.
What is?
It is different.
Yeah, describe to me. Yeah, different than a cold plunge. Yeah, let's talk about that. So, what's the difference? What are the benefits? What do people use it for? How often do they use it?
Yeah.
Etc.
So, well, our chamber is actually from Poland, which is super cool. I wish I could have watched it be installed, because if y'all were to see it, it's massive. I feel like it's almost the size of the room we're in right now. There's actually a pre-chamber and then the main chamber. So whenever we have someone new come in, obviously we have them fill out all of the waivers. We talk them through the process. It's something...
No, you cannot.
I tell them if they're not going to come out in time, I'm going to come get you.
Because isn't that cryo too? Or people are like, I'm going to take my head and stick it in a cryo chamber and come back in 100 years.
I don't know what
That's cryogenics.
Oh, that's what I said. Same cryo.
Are you Googling it right now?
No, I did my research. Sorry, Brett.
So ours is rather large. We can actually fit multiple people in ours. And so usually we go through the list of questions. We make sure we supply all of the proper attire, because, fingers, toes, nose, all of those things need to be protected. Correct.
How cold does it get in there?
It can get to negative 160 in ours. Ours is an electrical one, so some of them are nitrogen based, and I think they can get colder. I've heard up to negative 220.
How long are you in there?
For restore, we only go up to 3 minutes and 15 seconds. So if it's someone's first time,
15 seconds too long for me.
But we can play songs while you're in there. There's an Alexa. One time some guy goes, "Okay, pick a song for me." And I picked Ice Ice Baby. And he was not happy when he got out. He was like, "I'm trying to not focus on how cold I am, Amanda." And it's just like, "Ice Ice Baby." I thought it was pretty funny. He comes in often. It's fine. We have a good relationship. So
Cheeseburger in Paradise. Maybe that would be another,
warm you up a little bit.
Uplifting, right?
And then my owner, for example, so we have the ability to adjust the settings. So you can put 1 intensity fan, you can put it up to 5, you can put 1 person up to 4 people, and then you can change the time. So everyone's a little different on what they like. I have one guy that's a fighter, and he comes maxes it out.
Being that cold.
Yeah, it's cold.
It's got to be really beneficial. Like, I get out of there, and all of a sudden, I don't have to ever work again. Somebody takes care of me. Somebody vacuums. It needs to
I'd be doing it every day.
Life transformative. All of a sudden, I'm a stay-at-home wife. That would be great. I don't know if I could just get in there for my possible wellness. Oh, yeah, no.
Well, I have some people that really notice a difference. I have one guest. Every time she gets out, she feels lighter, she feels better, she feels more energetic, and then it also helps with her chronic arthritis. So there are some people that do it just for the energy response, because you do have chemicals that fire, and I did it actually after my interview. The owner was like, "You know what? You should hop in a red light and cry. Just give it a try. Make sure this is something that you would be able to promote."
Or red light is separate from the cryo?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to do the combo between the two. So I hopped into cryo my first day in the building after signing my waivers, and came out and literally was like, "Oh my gosh, I do feel more awake. I feel more alert, just more aware." And not that I do have some chronic pain, but
I'm just saying I'm not going to like it.
most people don't. I have a guest that always comes in. She came in yesterday, and it's freezing outside and snowing. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, do I have to do this, Amanda?" I'm like, "You don't have to."
Schedule this appointment.
Yeah. But you
Let's put you in the sauna.
Yeah, we do. I love the sauna. She really sees the benefit from it. And so she actually goes to the Orange Theory Fitness that's right next to us. So she'll come before and after her workouts. And sure enough, she got in there and she got to the negative 150 degrees while it was snowing outside and then hopped out and went and did her workout. So she's a beast.
So is there a difference between, if any, between cold therapy and other realms? Let's say hop in the shower and, turn it lukewarm and then turn it cold. Or let's say somebody loves to go do an ice bath behind their house or whatever, or jump in a lake. Is there a difference, and how so?
I mean, I think the way that, so just like Colorado versus New Orleans, you have humidity versus none, water versus dry. Mm-hmm. And so I think you're able to get to a lower temperature in that dry format of a cryotherapy machine versus a cold plunge. It's you get to like the 30s, and that's really where you should stop. Otherwise, it gets really dangerous very quickly. And so being able to be in that colder setting and also in more of an open space where some people that we have take their robe off and really just like expose as much as they can. And I think it's just a difference in feeling. So when I'm in a wet, cold setting, I am extremely unhappy. Doing a cold plunge for me would take a whole different mindset than hopping into the cryo machine. So I think it's also preference at the same time. We're all looking for the same benefit, which is anti-inflammation, pain reduction, recovery, but there's just different mechanisms of doing it. And it would be unfair to say that one is necessarily better than the other because I think it's too early to say. I don't think there's enough science out there to really be able to say that finitely, but giving them the option of being able to go into this whole experience is, I actually had 3 girls go in at the same time for the first time ever the other day, and they were in there dancing around, having fun with it. And I was like, you can't do that in a cold plunge, You're in there just suffering by yourself in this bin, and you're just like, ugh.
Oh, I can't wait to call my girlfriends, guys. We're all the next ABN. We call the girls ABN Awesome Bitches Night. The next ABN, we're gonna go stick ourselves in a freezer.
I think one of them wanted to do it and had been wanting to do it, and they were all avid athletes, and the other 2 just kind of joined along. And I gave them a tour, did the whole thing, and I'm like, you can go in together for ours, and they didn't know that. So their eyes lit up, and they played Celine Dion, and they all went in, and they're all just like in there dancing together while helping themselves. I thought it was super fun.
Guys, we're going to this bar.
Well, when I was playing football down in Georgia, I had a membership to Restore for the cryotherapy. So twice a week, I would hit it up, and I would go in just boxers.
Yeah.
To get this, as much as I could out of it,
Totally.
But I always felt so much better after, especially a hard workout. I'm tired, come out, I feel less inflamed. I actually got like more ripped by doing it. I know it sounds weird, but I think
Your metabolism boosts.
Yep.
Yeah, because imagine how cold you are, and so your body immediately responds by burning energy to warm yourself. So some of our people will do the red light to increase their body temperature, attain all the benefits that comes from red light as well, anti-aging, also healing mechanisms, even hormonal boosting, and then come into cryo to drop that body temperature. So then all of a sudden it's like, wait, what the frick? Yeah. Now I need to keep myself warm. So it starts revving that metabolism, and then they'll go about their day. And because they had that metabolism boost, that's where you're seeing that increase in energy. That's where you're seeing that reduction in body fat, probably. So that makes total sense.
I was just confused. I'd walk in, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm fat. And come out, and I'm like, oh, I'm ripped. This is sweet.
Your body's like...
Exactly. It kind of is. It is.
I don't say I didn't warn you guys about this podcast.
I mean, for somebody like me, I don't train super hard. Sorry, Trip. And I'm not a pro athlete. I'm not I'm not somebody who's running 100 miles a week. I'm not. So in my mind, I'm like, what does hyper wellness and recovery and all of those things have to do with someone like me who just is me? I'm a mom and doing all these things. I'm not into that. That's not my jam. So it's like, how does that benefit somebody like me who's not a professional athlete, for example?
Well, that's the thing. Like, but you're a mom, so you're on the go all the time. You probably have high stress. You're probably thinking
Zero
of them.
stress. Zero.
Right.
Ironically, my stress is not from my children. It's from the children I babysit who pay me.
And I mean, like, every day, are we always getting all of our nutrients in? Are we always making decisions that are best for ourselves? Even as someone who's been in the health and wellness industry for 10 plus years, we live in the 21st century. I love me a burger or French fries. Oh man, I love potatoes. So I'm not getting all the nutrients that I need all of the time. And so even if you feel fine, quote unquote, you don't really know how great you could feel until you actively seek it out. And I think so many people are good with where they're at. It's almost like a complacency that going out of that comfort zone and doing something better and realizing this is how I could feel is kind of addicting. It's that realization of, oh wow, I've just felt like this the whole time. I didn't know any different. For example, I've been in lots of car accidents. It's something that my family is like, Amanda's a bad omen for cars. And for the longest time, I didn't go see a chiropractor. Some of it was cost, some of it was fear, some of it was, is this really going to help me? Because this seems like something I'm going to have to do consistently. I started seeing a chiropractor while in Colorado, and she looked at me and she was like, how have you not done this yet? And then I started going, and in my training, I felt so much more balanced. I didn't have the left side trap and rhomboid inflammation that I had consistently, even when I was health coaching, even when I was training as a bodybuilder. I didn't have that pain anymore. And granted, it's been a couple months. She's probably going to hear this and be like, yeah, you need to get the frick back here, Amanda. But since I've not been going, I'm starting to see those imbalances again. And you really start to notice, wow, that made a huge difference for me. I need to get my ass back over there because my training is suffering. I'm in pain. It affects my mental health. There's just so many avenues of how you can feel better. And I don't think people realize until they're involved. Yeah.
Used to that sort of thing. And then when you get out of it, you're like, oh, hey, maybe I did feel better. I didn't realize it, or I haven't gone, or I keep waiting to be addicted to working out with Trip, and I am not addicted to it. But I'm being positive.
I've had clients that from years ago that I've said for years at a time, I'm like, one day you're gonna love it, and years later they're like, I still hate it.
I hate it necessarily.
I'm thinking of one person in particular that's
me probably,
but showing up though. I mean,
yeah, I think that's half of the battle is just consistently showing up. There are things that I'm like, oh, I like this, or I don't like that, or something that makes me feel better, but it's sometimes for me, I feel like it's hard to pinpoint. Like, it's hard for me to I don't know, something that makes me feel better.
Yeah. Well, so people come in to Restore and they can get essentially a consultation. They can talk with professionals like yourself, and there's obviously a nurse on staff, and you guys have lots of different, you talk red light therapy, cryotherapy. We didn't have a chance today to get into IV, which is a whole different part of your business.
That's a whole big thing, right?
Yeah, which is
huge.
Yeah, which is maybe like a large portion of what you guys do, and that's its own industry right now that's growing rapidly and in a lot of different areas. You're at Wheat Ridge. Where are you located at in Wheat Ridge?
Applewood, so right next to King Soopers and Apple Jack's Liquor. Most people know where those things are. Yeah,
right next to between the liquor store and the gun store. And so somebody may be listening to this, even who's never done it before. It's probably overwhelming to feel like, oh, I'm gonna walk in. Like Leslie asked a great.
Well, and then you gotta walk in and be vulnerable too.
Yeah, 100%.
And be like, oh, hey, this is what's going on. And I think that's hard for some people too.
Totally.
A lot of people aren't vulnerable with people they don't know, and some people are never vulnerable. It takes a hot minute to be vulnerable about something.
Well, I think that comes back to the team that's in place at your location, right? So the people that I have, for myself included, I'm an open book. I mean, sometimes my husband's like, maybe you should not tell everyone that.
Let me skip that chapter.
I get in trouble for that on a regular basis.
But honestly, like when you're walking into an environment where you are having to be vulnerable and maybe do something that you necessarily don't want to do, but you know it's going to benefit you, you just need the right supporters. Like, oh yeah, I hate being cold. Going into cryotherapy for me takes a lot. I get anxious. I kind of like don't want to do it, or a little bit of dread before I go in every time. But the feeling that you get once you do it, you conquered that fear, you conquered that anxiety, whatever it may be. And every day that you do that, you know that every day you're making yourself better by pushing yourself into that discomfort. And so having the right people around who can kind of level with you in that, even though I'm here every day, this is still hard for me to do. This is not an easy thing. I had someone come in the other day that was running for office, and I was like, you know, what you're doing? Because she was super nervous. Obviously, I would be too. That's heavy. And I'm like, just running takes courage. You're putting yourself in a very like open place where,
especially if it's not a popular opinion.
Exactly. And people are pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, you're doing something most of us would never do, never think to do in our lives. And that already, like, that's such an accomplishment. So I hope you know that going into tonight. Like, you've already done so much that I would never think of doing. And someone's got to do it. But these things, they're in place to really help you. And even though sometimes making that decision is hard, you can assure to yourself, like, I'm helping myself. And we have the right people around to really support in that endeavor. And again, that's why I like speak to my team so much, because without, I don't know if I can say their names. Can I say their names? Without the Deedees and the Carolines and the Mandys and Margarets, like Kate, I just, like, without the souls that we have at that location, it wouldn't be the same. And we really just want to help, whether that mean like crack a joke to make you feel more relaxed or really open up about our own experiences. It's just the entire journey of it is really special to me. I'm very happy to be, if y'all can't tell, I'm very happy to be back in health and wellness, because it's just a different experience. And I'm really grateful, very, very grateful.
Before the podcast, just for the listeners, we all had the opportunity. We were talking about prefacing the podcast about how we do it and all that stuff and why people listen. And we kind of all laughed about it because I was like, I don't know why people listen. It was kind of a joke around the room. But this is really why people listen, I think, to hear the stories of where health and wellness is at right now from professionals like yourself, some of the struggles you deal with. And then obviously, you know, how you've highlighted your team has been amazing too. And I think that's just, you know, a human nature thing that, you know, we're never successful by ourselves. It's always with the help of others. It's been an amazing trip. I want to give you a chance, good sir. Final thoughts, words on today's episode.
One of the big things, I want to thank the audience for sticking through, even the times that we don't record during the week. Things have been really crazy around here. Things have been really busy, but we've got a lot of amazing things coming out here. But I really want to say thank you to the listeners and every single download, every single country. You guys are keeping this podcast going. I mean, we're about to
do that shout out, doesn't he?
He does. I think it's important.
I agree, actually. Always keep in mind your guest.
Well, so thanking the audience, number one, thanking you, Amanda, for coming in, sharing your story, sharing what you do. Leslie, thank you so much for coming in here and being that big personality.
My assistant.
Well, and I know we're getting kind of close to ending season 2. Yeah. Right? We're getting very close to ending season 2. It's towards the end of the year.
I would like to know what you guys determine as a season.
Whatever the hell we want.
Good question.
Right. Okay, there you go.
Good question. I would too.
Whatever the hell we want.
It's above my pay grade.
But getting towards the end of that, I just want to again thank you guys. This has been crazy. We had a few milestones the past few weeks. Our highest downloaded day. Got a few new countries in the fold. China coming in. So I'm feeling really grateful right now.
Heck yeah, man. Leslie, you've obviously...
We should end this with a sauna.
We could turn the heat up in here if you'd like.
I want to do a sauna.
Come do my sauna. Come use my sauna, please.
Actually, yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would do that for sure. I would do the heat over the cold.
Same. I'm the same way. I'm from the
also
South.
Like one of these that I'm like, oh, I'll try almost everything once. Like, I'll give it a shot. We'll see how I do.
It's interesting. It's a cool, interesting. Like it feels
tormented
good.
myself with Bikram yoga, okay, and I kept going back, and then I kept buying memberships, and every time I left the class, I wanted to puke. So if I can do that,
you're fine.
Right, exactly. No, this would be cake. The sauna is one of my favorites, to be honest. 45 minutes to just sit and sweat it out and know that everything is just detoxing out of your system, especially in Colorado where it's so dry, most of us don't sweat. It's an amazing feeling when you come out.
Trip doesn't work me hard enough to sweat.
Tomorrow.
All right, I think it's time to end the episode.
Tomorrow, I'm sure you're in for it. You guys, thank you so much.
Underestimates me.
Appreciate you guys joining us. Amanda, thank you for taking time out of your day. If you guys aren't in Colorado, it is crazy snowy here. You didn't have to come here. We could have rescheduled, so thank you so much.
Oh, of course.
It actually looks like it almost stopped.
We will most definitely come visit you.
Please.
And we'll try out all the goodies you guys have to offer.
I don't have to sauna with these two, do
No.
I?
No.
You don't want to. Not with Trip. You don't want to sauna. We got a lot of exciting stuff happening next. So again, thanks, and appreciate you listeners for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode of Health of High Water. Peace.